Welcome to the Big Biz Show, featuring insight, analysis, and a lot of stuff that's none of your business.
Hold on. This is the Big Biz Show. I think it is their business.
Making the markets work for you. Here's the man with the plan, Sully.
Hey, they're live from the Loft 100 studios in sunny San Diego, California. Welcome to the Big Biz Show. I'm Sully. That's Mike Costa, our co-host there, Mary Burt Godwin as well, and of course our executive producer, Greg Todoroff. And let's not forget the Day Trader Trio.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Howie Font joins us from New York City as he does every single show, talking about what's happening real time in the market here. Howard, how are you?
Hello. Glad to be back.
So back in the day, back to a gentler time.
Oh.
When you sold stock or purchased stock, you would have the transaction day. Let's say you bought stock, or let's say you sold stock on a Monday. Sold 100 shares of Apple.
Okay.
You didn't get your cash the same day. You had to count transaction plus Monday's the transaction, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Transaction plus 3. And then it went to transaction plus 2, T plus 2. Howie, am I hearing horror against horror? T plus 1?
The innovation Wall Street comes up with. They went from 3 to 2 to 1.
Wow.
I mentioned it on the show a couple weeks ago, but May 28th, day after Labor Day, U.S. stocks and bonds will start trading at T plus 1.
Now, what it basically means is they're clearing your cash, okay, in one day. They're clearing the trade in one day. Now, is this the same, Howie, as back in the day? And I don't know, you probably don't even know what a checkbook is, but we used to write checks. And in college, we would write checks on a Monday for $20, take that $20 and put it in the bank to cover the check we just wrote and buy some groceries with it. It's called kiting a check. It's a felony.
Yeah.
But we all did it.
Yep.
And you could count on the fact that when you wrote a check, it would take a couple days to clear.
Always.
Okay?
Yes.
So if you mailed the check, that takes a couple days to get to Mike. I owe Mike $100. Hey, Mike, I mailed you a check. Well, there's 2-3 days. Wait a day. Okay?
Yeah.
Then I mail it, and there's 2-3 days. Okay, now you get 4 days pass. He puts it in the bank. It's a couple other days. I had a whole week before I had to worry about it. Well, suddenly you write a check today.
Boing.
No, that day you see it in your account. Like
Yeah.
well, how that?
That minute sometimes.
We don't write many checks, but when you write a check, you see it the same day. Is this sort of the same thing? This is just technology catching up to a paper universe that used to exist.
Yeah, so it's actually a little bit different than that. Right. It's already effectively for most online traders not going to mean anything because the computer platforms will not let you trade they'll treat the dollars that you have and they'll let you trade with the unsettled funds, they're called, but they won't let you take out cash or anything like that. So no kiting. But back in the day, that was possible when you called your broker, when it was actually T plus 3, you were able to, buy a trade. There's a 3-day gap. You wire in the funds. That takes a couple days.
Okay,
that
to be clear, if I sell $100 after May 28th, I think you said May 28th? Yeah. After May 28th, if I sell $100 worth of stock, I get my Hyundai the next day.
That's right.
Wow,
yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
What are the downsides? I'm assuming that's going to mean more risk somewhere.
No, so I don't think it's going to mean much of anything. And the important reason is something you bring up a lot. For retail, nothing is really going to change. You'll get your money a little bit faster. But they haven't changed the requirements for broker dealers to settle. So and they've got
that's a
2+ weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
So they've got 20 trading days. Now they're going to cut down to two trading
So
days.
it's not going to really affect market dynamics. Yeah. Now, I have another related topic that I'd like to bring up because the next innovation that is going to come in the markets, the New York Stock Exchange, the NYSE, has started polling its members on 24-hour trading like you have on Robinhood.
I hate that. See, this is the problem I have with crypto.
That's what I want to talk to you about.
Oh, my God. Stand by. No, come on. This. Okay, the reason I hate this is because you have a set point at the end of the day where you're going to stop trading.
Right.
And the long story short is that with crypto, it never stopped trading. It makes it very difficult to put a trailing stop in, which I'll explain in a minute. Because when I buy
there's no stopping it.
Yeah,
it's happening.
I hate it. Howie, go away. I don't want to talk to you. Big Biz Show.
Mr. Sunshine.
Damn. Love Howie.
This is...
You're going to have to explain why you're so...
All of our scams are going to go away.
There we go. There we go.
That's funny.
No, it's just... I love to know that I can sleep and the game's over for...
Welcome to the Big Biz Show, featuring insight, analysis, and a lot of stuff that's none of your business.
Hold on. This is the Big Biz Show. I think it is their business.
Making the markets work for you. Here's the man with the plan, Sully.
Big Biz Show for the Loft 100 Studios, sunny Southern California. Always appreciate you guys being along for the ride. I'm Mike Costa. That's Marybird Godwin. Greg Todorov, our executive producer, best in the business, by the way. And of course, Sully.
So, I hate to do this. I'm bringing Howie back up. I love Howie, but the fact that we were talking about, if you're just joining us, is the fact that we could be going to a 24-hour stock market trading model, whereby right now on the East Coast, the stock market's open at 9:30 in the morning and closed at 4 in the afternoon. Okay. Which is nice. I like this, and the reason I like this is because at least you know in the middle of the night something bad is not happening. Now, having said that, I may be overreacting because what happens at the end of our trading day starts the trading day in the Asian markets. Okay, and every morning when we open our market, there's an auction to kind of make up for the difference in how we ended and how they ended.
Okay.
Now we're beginning again. So let's say there was a crash overnight. We're gonna open up lower. Howie, it may not be as horrible as I think, except for the fact that our ability to resist looking at the stock market at 2 in the morning when you wake up with insomnia, right? I mean, that's really the net result because it doesn't really affect
gambling
much.
addicts will have a problem, but you're exactly right that the inherent risk is, oh my gosh, I don't have a diversified portfolio. I only own Tesla or Sully's Tequila Factory, and it's down 5% at 2 in the morning. But if I had just slept through, it popped right back up.
Well, so there's two morals of this story, and you make a great point. Number one, you shouldn't be day trading anyway. If you liked Apple at $1.40, you like Apple. You liked Apple at 70 cents.
Right.
It's the same company. It's a snapshot in time. And had you taken your money out of the stock market every time it dropped down and looked like there was no hope, every time for the last 10 times it happened, and then you put your money in when you thought it was safe, you'd have about a 6% return, as opposed to just keeping your money at risk. You'd have probably a 16% return during high times and a 10 or 12% return during moderate times like right now. The other issue is this: if you are day trading, the first thing you do when you buy a stock when you're day trading is sell it. And what I mean by that is you place a sell order into it. So if I buy a stock at $100, I put what's called a trailing stop in, meaning that if that stock drops by 10% at any time, and actually my trailing stop's 5%. Okay. So if I had 100, next day it drops to 95, I'm out. Set it and forget it, George Foreman. A trailing stop means as the price keeps going up, the 5% stop follows it. So now I'm playing with the house's money. I'm refusing. It doesn't have to go down to 95; it just goes down from 5% where the high is. And at some point, I always say when you're making 10% over a day in day trading, you take your money off the table and go south with it. When you're playing blackjack, you always take that chip and you drop it in your right hand pocket. So now you're playing with the house's money now.
Always.
Right. So it's sort of the same thing. I think that if people are smart about it and disciplined, Howie, I think it's going to be okay. Because I think the problem is when you see the day traders and the micro traders and the meme traders and the shorters, I think that's going to be the problem.
That is definitely a risk, but the positive case for 24-hour trading would be fairness. So right now, the only people that can trade before or after hours are people that have special accounts, hedge funds, other institutions, and we've seen the volume for what's called U.S. market futures contracts. It's just a way to trade outside of hours, has increased every year. So this would let retail players come in and say, okay, there's new employment data, there's new inflation data, and the market's jumping up and down before 9:30. Well, you don't get to participate in that if you're just Joe Schmo. But now you would be able to, is the idea. It's a little fair.
I think so. And one of the options is, there's only two ways to be wealthy in this country. You either have to own a business or you have to own some real estate. And owning a business is owning a share of stock. Okay, you're owning a piece of that business. But then there is the real estate function where you talk about owning real estate as to diversify your portfolio. And you could do that within reach. But one thing I start thinking about is liquidity, right? This whole conversation started about how liquid are we? I sell my stock, I get it the next day. That is the fastest path to liquidity you can have. And one of the problems with real estate is we don't have a real fast path to liquidity. It takes 30, 60 days to sell a house, which made me start thinking, well, wait a second now. If I put all my money into equities and I don't own real estate, that means I'm not paying property taxes. I'm not paying maintenance fees. I'm renting. I'm letting. So have you guys ever thought of the renting versus owning question? Because as we start, as this topic kind of opens up here, and we keep on peeling the onion.
Sure.
I start thinking in terms of, well, if I just take my money and invest it, okay, give it to my money manager, they do what they're doing. I day trade, and when I talk about day trading, guys, I day trade less than 0.5% of my portfolio, because it's just, I don't have the time to do it. And you should not be counting on individual stocks on a buy and sell basis, unless you're doing it on a paper trade, meaning that you're just following it, not using real money. But it makes me think, God, maybe I just sell the houses. I don't have to worry about, I'm going to make money over here because my money is no longer in real estate. Now it's in equities. It's going up. I mean, we wouldn't be at 35,000, and we have an all-time high in the S&P this week, Howie. It's not, we're not the Bolsa in Mexico where it's a negative number.
It's a great idea. And right now, actually, renting is much cheaper than buying. But I would say the only counter long term is then you're subject to rent inflation. Is that something you want to be?
Well, but then again, I'm not paying property taxes at 1.5%.
Yeah,
that's true. So have you guys thought about renting versus owning?
I think that the house that we're in, thank you, God, for the life you have given me, we are free and clear on, so I don't have to worry about a mortgage payment or obviously maintenance and stuff like that. But maybe, when my wife and I kick the fledgling out of the nest finally, we move somewhere else into a smaller place. I think it's something.
Are you going to stay in California? Is it tenable to stay in California for you? Because again, you're talking about property taxes.
Yeah. No, and there's a bunch of reasons I don't want to.
Plus all those 80-year-old fillies you have over there in Florida when you're with the bus lanes.
Hey,
those.
Everybody loves crepes.
The thing about the difference between real estate, for me anyway, between real estate and stocks is when you buy a stock, you don't have to pay any more. You own that stock, you don't have to pay any more, right? If the stock goes down, it's okay.
Well, you can't say that about real estate.
But real estate, you sign a deal with a bank unless you pay cash.
Yeah.
But with real estate, you sign a deal with a bank, and guess what? You're on the hook every single month to make that morttage payment.
Right.
Sure.
But even if you pay cash,
oh, by the way, there's maintenance.
Let's talk about your bioswale,
even if you pay cash, you still have to pay the government your property taxes every 6 months.
Right.
You still have to pay insurance. Right? So you still have these costs involved, whereas with a stock, guess what? You bought the stock and you don't have to do another thing to it. If it goes up, great. If it goes down, you still don't have to punish it.
And there's a lot of money managers that are actually pushing that now, saying, you know what? Try to find a long-term lease or long-term rental. And saying, why would I rent? Throwing money away. No, you're not throwing money. If you compare it, if you do a serious cash flow projection, which is called a pro forma, on what it costs to rent, I wonder, I don't know this, I can't say definitively, I wonder if it turns out to be a break even one way or the other, because you're not making equity. Well, guess what? The money I was using in my house, I'm now using in the stock market.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I can get to tomorrow.
And when you hear your water,
I can get to tomorrow.
When you wake up and the water heater's going,
Right.
and you're renting.
I'm not suggesting everybody sell their home, but I'm saying that talking about this liquidity thing as we started today, the T+1, it makes me think. Are you?
I own, and I just read an article about this exact subject that said, back when I was buying, everyone was like buy, and now everyone's saying actually renting is a better option. So now I'm wondering.
So now you got a big pile of cash from your equity in your house. Okay, you throw it to the stock market to invest. All right. That thing starts growing, and very similar. If you look at real estate and equity, it's very similar on the appreciation rate. Okay, sometimes markets up and down, sometimes real estate, but they're very similar in terms of growth, and it's just a function of how fast you want to get your money. I've got guys who will only own real estate because they don't understand the stock market, and they say a balanced portfolio does have some real estate in it. But I start thinking in terms of the way these things are changing in the stock market. If you can get to your money that fast, that quickly. If you're in a bind right now, you either have to do a second mortgage on your house, a reverse mortgage, or something, but it's going to take 2-3 weeks to get it done, right? Let's say you don't have a whole pile over here, all right?
Yes.
If you have your money in the stock market, you have a pile. It's a constant pile, and it's feeding off. It's feeding off of that. So I would be interested. I would be interested in seeing how many people would gladly say, you know what? I'm going to go rent somewhere. I'm going to sell my house, and I'm going to see how much money I can make in the stock market. Because my biggest fear is this: if I sell my house in California and leave, I ain't never going to be able to get back.
Right.
No way.
See what I'm saying?
That's the fear.
Isn't that the fear?
Oh, absolutely.
Unless I rent.
Yep.
Well,
Which I think I'm on-ramping myself. I'm on-ramping myself for renting when I try to come back.
And like Howie said too, now you're subjecting yourself to potential inflation in rental
Yeah.
in the rental market.
Right.
Sure.
Right?
My kids aren't going to be able to afford to live here.
If you own, you
I
lock
think
it
that-
in,
So we'll be moving to
at
another
least,
state.
depending on what note you go with.
Can I tell you this? It brings us to that subject about what we talked about the other day was, what's it called, shadow inflation? What do we call it? Shrinkflation?
There's shrinkflation and shadow inflation.
Well, shrinkflation in the housing market has already happened. You're getting less for more already. Shrinkflation doesn't happen in the stock market, okay? It doesn't. You're not getting less. I mean, you can see it because the stock goes down. You're getting more for less. If the stock goes too high, you can watch it. You can watch it on a technical feature called a stochastic oscillator. You can watch it in technical analysis. But you can also know that if suddenly Apple started trading for $1 a share, Apple's still the same company. You know it's a bargain.
Exactly.
If Apple started trading for $135,000 a share, probably stay away from it. There's no shrinkflation there. It's something that you can control. All right, Big Biz Show. More to come. Stand by.
It is time for the Sports Biz Minute, brought to you by Country Smooth Bourbon Whiskey. It is the brand you want to get your hand on. Check them out, countrysmooth.com. Find a bottle near you. We're going to start off in the NCAA. The Power 5 conferences and the NCAA have agreed to pay athletes in the year 2025. Each Power 5 school will have about $20 million.
Wait a minute. Is this NIL? Is this name, image, likeness? Or is
No.
this pay to play?
Believe it or not, the NCAA has agreed to pay student athletes. That's never happened.
Now, if it's
before,
$20 million
ever.
per school, that means that there's only $35 billion left on the NCAA.
Pretty much.
You know what? They're cutting corners, Mike.
$20 million per Power 5 team to spread out amongst their student athletes.
Now, wait a minute. If I'm a freshman that's a walk-on, a center, long snapper,
Yep.
am I getting $10K a year?
Whatever they're going to, whatever they designate for you at the University of Alabama as a walk-on, that's where you're going to get, and it's going to come out of that $20 million pool.
All right.
All right, NBA news. Bronny James, he's the son of a Lakers star, LeBron James. He has officially said, I will not be going back to college. 1 year and done at USC. He is entering the NBA draft. He is ESPN's number 54 rated player, top 100 players coming out and going into the NBA draft. And finally,
Mike, what are his stats? How tall is he?
Bronny is 6'3.5", maybe 6'4".
6'5" when he blow dries?
Yeah, not nearly as
Howie?
big. Not nearly as big as
Howie's hair.
LeBron. Finally, the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup continues, and ratings are up by 11% this year as opposed to last year. Overtime games, marquee names, marquee teams in the NHL playoffs. Big reasons for the uptick. That is the Sports Biz Minute, once again brought to you by Country Smooth Bourbon Whiskey. Check them out.
it wasn't brought to you by-
CountrySmooth.com. Once again, here's Sully.
It wasn't brought to you by who made that shirt.
Right. A good-looking shirt.
The Madras.
Little safety tip, Mike.
Da-da.
You look like you're wearing a catcher's outfit just by standing up.
Catcher's outfit?
I always thought you were a catcher. Hello, everybody. Raj DasGupta has walked into this train wreck here. Chief Executive Officer of Electrovaya, his stock symbol ELVA. Of course, Electrovaya makes a unique lithium-ion technology that's much different than today's lithium-ion batteries. And I know Mary was saying, I don't understand this.
I don't.
Raj,
That's
I
my
want to
number one
understand
question.
it.
How is it different?
Well, listen, he was named CEO of this company in 2022. He's had a number of roles, but you know, Raj, if you are in between flights at the airport and you're having a snack and Mary rolls up and it's like, hey, what do you do? What is the elevator pitch on what you guys do? And so Mary can understand it, because I get so many emails when you're on the air. It's apparently clear to everyone else in the country, just not Mary.
It's just not me. I mean, it's different than what's in our phones, what's in your car.
Yeah.
But tell me how. Break it down for me.
That's a great question, and it can get complicated. So I'll try to keep it nice and simple.
Use small words, please.
Yeah, no 50 centers.
No big words.
So Electrovaya has been making batteries for a long time, and we make a special chemistry, so a special designed lithium-ion battery. And what it's all about the separator. That's what Electrovaya's contribution, our technology, is focused on. And a separator is one part of a lithium-ion battery. And that's the part that goes between your plus and your minus, right? So your And that's what's responsible from keeping them from touching one another, and is also responsible for allowing the lithium ions to go through.
Okay.
So all lithium-ion batteries have this component. The difference between our batteries is that separator material is made of ceramic. And in typical lithium-ion batteries, that separator is made of a plastic, right? So we're ceramic, typical lithium-ion batteries have plastics there. What's the big deal? Well, the ceramic is stable at high temperatures, as you may know, and plastics, they melt, right? So if that separator melts or shrinks when it gets too hot, then you get bad things happening in your batteries, fires, all sorts of terrible things. In our case, that separator is stable, it's ceramic, doesn't matter how hot the battery gets, the separator is going to remain intact. And so the outcome of this is our batteries are much, much safer than typical. That's exactly what I would suggest. So you can see your polymers, they shrink, they get small, and when that happens, when that's happened already there, you have a nice big fire.
Yeah.
So our batteries are much, much safer.
Now, but talk about efficiency, because you also, of course, safety is a huge concern, but you have much better levels of almost everything in heavy duty applications. Talk about that a bit.
Well, it also comes back down to that fundamental breakthrough there. So we've engineered the cell around this material. We can use other materials. There's a lot of science that goes into it, but the outcome is our cells, our lithium-ion batteries, get about 4 to 5 times the amount of cycles, the longevity you can do on the battery before they reach their end of life. All right, so they're not just safer, but they last a hell of a lot longer.
Yeah.
And that combination makes them very attractive for everything, but especially, I would say, industrial, heavy-duty applications.
Raj DasGupta, the CEO of Electrovaya Incorporated, a NASDAQ ELVA, and apparently the Texas Stock Exchange.
Yeah, that's right. That's
ELVA.
It's Toronto Venture. It's called the TSX Venture Exchange.
Okay.
They trade in Canada, but it's not the Texas Stock Exchange. No.
Does it exist?
Sorry, Raj.
Okay.
But apparently you just got yourself a big pile of Texas investors that are interested now.
Raj, as far as the scope or breadth of applications with your technology, how big is that?
Well, it's enormous, right? So, and we're not only scratching the surface. So initially, we had to pick a certain application to go after. The first thing we went after was warehousing. So you don't see you see the outside of warehouses.
Sure.
You don't see what goes on inside them. But inside them, they've got hundreds of vehicles operating 24 hours a day, and they need batteries that can keep up with that kind of use. So there, we've been extremely successful. We're powering. I mean, if you order things online, there's a good chance your product is being moved by an Electrovaya battery. Wow. We're powering over 200 warehouses right now, 14 Fortune 100 companies, including the biggest names you can think of. So that's our core market right now. But now we're getting into other applications. We're seeing a lot of interest in the defense sector. Sure. We're seeing a lot of interest in heavy-duty trucks, mining vehicles.
Raj, you mentioned that last time we were on there, and what I want to ask is, you're already a publicly traded company, but now you're so vast and far-reaching. Is there another exit? Is there another company that could buy you folks, or are you just going to take this? I mean, is that a possibility, or are you targeting acquisitions? Because if you were a privately held company, you would be ripe for acquisition on a big basis. You're already sort of there. My question is going to be,
it's not the first time we've been approached in the past, and we want to demonstrate big success. We've gotten, I'd say, small success that's stable. We're making money. The business is growing. We've got excellent technology. Yeah. The next step is I want to repeat that success in some other sectors, and in the long run, we could.
I want Raj running everything. Yeah, he's the voice of reason. Him and Howie could rule the world. Imagine those two guys together.
I was going to say
they do.
They're the voice of reason.
They complement each other very well.
They're both handsome, and they're both suffering us every time they're on the air. Raj, thank you so much, buddy. We'll talk to you later. Raj DasGupta, powering the world's heaviest duty electrified everything. Electrovaya, ELVA is their stock symbol.
You broke it down nicely for me.
You did.
Get it.
No big words.
We continue. Big Biz Show. Stand by. We're back in a minute.
Slow delivery. I liked it.
Loft 100 Studios, The Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullygroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
It is a Big Biz Show. It's inside the Loft 100 Studios in sunny Southern California. Hope everyone's having a great day. Costa, Maryburg Godwin, Greg Todorov. What? Sully, are you,
No, you know, my
appearance,
my appearance today has less to do with me sleeping in my car last night and more to do with the fact that we had a water main break at the house because we had this 3 eucalyptus trees growing out of one.
Oh.
And just grew through the pipe. And then we saw this little trickle going through the driveway. They broke up the driveway to see what it was. And this beautiful eucalyptus tree roots was going right through the thing. We had to take the eucalyptus tree down. But we've had no water for a day and a half. We'll have water tonight. So it's Casual Wednesday.
Gotcha. Yeah, nice.
So yeah. Well, my face grows like a party favor. I'm slicker than snot on a wet doorknob. Like you know, I got no hair in my ass at all. I mean, I can go down a slide.
Hey.
You know.
Hey, now.
You know, like. But my face grows like a party favor. Like, it's like, I can't wait to see when I'm Hugh Beaumont's age, when I got nose hairs going out and I got the Andy Rooney thing going on. But for right now, I'm hanging on to the water wagon. It's just like.
Every time I get a haircut now, when the stylist says.
Their favorite thing is.
Yes.
I talked to my hair person yesterday, or day before yesterday. I said, is this your favorite thing?
Yeah.
Eyebrows.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
To do your eyebrows?
Yeah.
Hey, well, they always say that.
Would it satisfy you to be able to cut Mike's eyebrows? Like it's sort of a, because you know what? Let me tell you why. Because it's that.
Yep.
It's not just like it's like.
They're that thick, huh?
Yeah. It's like,
well, she said.
They don't look too bad.
You're
right?
kind of. She called them. You're starting to get those old man eyebrows.
Oh.
And then as she's there, she goes, "Oh, hold on," and she starts doing the ear hair too.
Oh.
And you're like, "It's over."
Yeah. When you got more hair going through your ears and your head.
Now. Oh yeah, exactly.
Hey, Lou Bender is back with us. I've bragged about this man on the air when he's not on the air, and I've talked about this company, Intensity Therapeutics, a number of times. INTS, they're publicly traded on NASDAQ, INTS. Lou is the CEO of Intensity Therapeutics, and Intensity Therapeutics is a pretty remarkable company, a late-stage phase 3 clinical trial biotech company focusing on treating cancer patients using a new chemistry. And they talked about it a couple of times here. But they're killing tumors and they're activating a systemic immune response. And as a result of that, they're making some headway here. Lou, thanks so much for being so generous with your time once again to talk through. You always have such a great response with our audience. We thought we'd bring you back over and over again. How are you, sir?
Sully, it's great to be back. Thank you very much. I know it's not nose hair or any other kind of hair. That's kind of a discussion, but it will be different. It's now for something completely different, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing, Lou. See, because of Mike's response to his own nose hair and his eyebrow, now Lou will be researching other categories to stop the rampant growth of your eyebrows in years to come.
On board.
Hey, seriously though, talk about the cancer topic, because you said something to me the first time we were talking that kind of stuck with me. You said cancer comes from our healthy cells that have mutated. Talk about that and what you guys are doing about that.
Well, I'm about to head out to the big annual American Society of Clinical Oncologists meeting in Chicago. 40,000 attendees are at this conference. And we're going to talk a lot about the newest technologies in cancer. But, cancer is basically challenging because it does come from your own cancers, your own DNA, how it's been mutated by whatever triggers, whatever that you've been exposed to, whether it's ultraviolet light from the sun or some chemical in the environment. Everything is very personalized with cancer. It's your DNA mutated by whatever was in your environment and what you were exposed to. And what we have is a technology that can take your cancer and convert it into a set of effectively an immunating vaccine. And we've gotten great results, and we've kept people alive, and we're about to start the last stages of development, a phase 3 big study in a very deadly cancer known as sarcoma. And we are excited about the opportunity to treat patients that have really very little options, and whatever options they have are very toxic. And our drug seems to be have a much more favorable safety profile.
Hey, Lou,
it's
talk
an exciting time for the company.
Well, Lou, talk about the INT 230-6. That is the exciting time. That's the reason. So it's called INT 236. Talk about that drug, and what exactly does it do?
So as we talked about last time, that is a very uncatchy name, and we are in the process of coming up with a brand name for INT 230-6. But it is a very unique product in that it contains 2 potent killing agents, 2 of the best known chemotherapeutics that are normally given into the veins. We are going to treat and kill the tumors with this formulation because it's got a special delivery chemical in it that makes things soluble in fat and water. And for the first time, this is why we have patents, we have formulated a product that when you inject it into the tumor, you can kill the entire tumor. Wow. Not small ones, not just large ones or small ones or mediums. All sizes of tumors can be killed with this new product, which means if you've got bulky disease, we can kill the tumors and stimulate a global immune activation over your whole body. This is a new weapon.
Yeah.
There is nothing similar in the market now that can do what we believe our drug does. And we are excited to prove that it will keep people alive longer. And we will do those studies over the next couple of years. And I think it'll be a game changer if that study does work. So that's what we have, a product that can kill tumors, stay in the tumor, and keep the patient feeling much better than they would be if you're poisoning the whole body.
Grateful to spend some time with Lou Bender. He is the CEO of Intensity Therapeutics, stock symbol INTS.
Yeah, Lou, gosh, I'm so impressed with what you're doing. And this weekend will be 23 years since I lost my dad to cancer, and I have somebody battling it right now. So I am, just really hopeful for everything that's being done to treat cancer. And can you tell me how soon your products could potentially be in the market and can start getting out there and helping people?
Yeah, because you're working hard to start 2 phase 3s right now, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of work in starting a phase 3. As I said last time on the phone call, the phase 3 is like playing in the NBA. Everything else, phase 1, phase 2, that's like playing in high school basketball. The FDA, the regulators, the manufacturing requirements are so much more intense. Very intense. This is why the company's name is Intensity. When you get to the late stage, you really have to be very close to commercialization. I'm hoping that we can get data in the next couple of years, 18 to 24 months, in both breast cancer, local treatment of breast cancer, and metastatic sarcoma. And since our drug uses a physical diffusion process, we've seen results in many, many other cancers like pancreatic. And to your point, I get probably 10 emails from friends or family or even strangers every week that tell me about somebody that wants to be in our studies and get our drug because they've run out of options.
Well,
and And I am passionate about trying to get this drug to the market as fast as we can, because the unmet medical need for better treatments that are safer and can keep people alive and feeling good are desperately needed. I'm about to head off to this conference. I don't anticipate a lot of big news or breakthrough news out of it. I'm hoping there is, but really there is such a medical need. So many people dying of cancer, not just think your friends and your father and friends. I've had family members die. I've had best friends from college die. I've had people that I know and have had their family die. And we've got to do better than what we do today. We just don't do enough. And what we do is poisoning people, and there's got to be a better way, and I think we have it.
His name is Lou Bender. Lou, we will be out at ASCO. Take a look. Howie will be there with us. We'll have a camera crew there. We're going to hunt you down and get some interviews. So the next time you're on there, we can see Lou in action. Lou Bender's his name, CEO, Intensity Therapeutics, INTS. You'll see him more on the show coming up. Thanks, Lou. Appreciate it. All right. There you go. I think that does it for us today for a Wednesday. Or as Mike likes to call it, Madras nights.
Time to hit the beach club.
It's easy to grin when your ship comes in.
Big Biz Show continues wherever you're watching us, wherever you're listening to us. Thank you. In the United States, in Mexico, Bloomberg Financiero, soon to be Bloomberg EU. For those of you playing along at home, that's European Union. You're welcome. Costa, Mary Godwin, Greg Todorov, and Sully.
Howard's back with us. Howie Font.
Where's Howard?
Howie, I want to ask you about. I thought so. We talked. Do you remember T+3, T+2, please, T+1?
Yep.
Yes.
Transaction plus.
Yep.
So it used to be when you sold a stock.
Yes.
You sold stock on Monday. You had to count Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before you get your money. Okay.
Right.
Then about 5 years ago it was T+2. Sell your stock on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, get your money. And then Howie introduced us to T+1. And didn't he say it's coming?
This week, I thought.
It ain't just coming. It's here. Howie.
Here.
Howie. I got on the front of my UBS, my piles in UBS. I've got day trading account at TD Ameritrade, and of course you got your bank account thing, right? Mm-hmm. I got so many notices this week, Howie. It's here. It's on it.
It's here.
I mean, are you concerned about fraud? Are you concerned because isn't that they want? Look at when you trade a stock, it's like when you write a check. The check doesn't go to the bank; they give you the money back. It goes to the Federal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same with stock. It clears to the DTC.
Yeah.
Depository Trust Corporation, I believe is what it's called. Howie, if they're clearing stock electronically and giving you your cash now, won't there be more incidents of fake stock or spoof stock that just doesn't show up?
You would
Because
think so.
brokers don't settle in one day. Brokers still settle in 20 trading days. Okay, so we're settling our trades in one day, and I don't know why they would do that. We were used to T+3. I'm not complaining. I love the fact because suddenly it's even a bigger argument for equities versus real estate because real estate's T+60 to sell your house and get your money?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you can get it.
Why? Do you know? And I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Do you know why this happened? I mean, was this a customer cry out for this? Because I don't recall there being a big push for this, and it seems awfully risky for the broker dealers that are involved in this.
Well, the SEC noted in their filing when they updated the rules that they did hear some consumer clamor for it. But that's always, people sending in letter. Who calls their congressman? Who sends letters? I don't know. These people
Said the guy who ran for city council at what age? Howie, what age were you?
22.
And what city was it? Was it New York somewhere?
It was County Commission, Leon County, Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, he's 22 years old. What were you doing at 22? Other than beer bongs and
I couldn't spell county commission.
I was inventing the seat buddy. Remember the seat buddy where you could sit in the thing and just pee in your seat? How to get up? Yeah,
That's nice.
Yeah.
I was just doing that without the seat buddy.
So Howard, because I didn't hear a big outcry for this, and it seems to me, there's an agenda here somewhere, and the only agenda I can see is for the consumer.
Yeah, there's no harm to the consumer that I can see except for the stock manipulation bit of it, which you talk about a lot, broker dealers having these long periods to settle when we have 21st century technology. And the reasoning was, hey, we basically do this. We're just kind of letting things lag a day. U.S. government securities, treasury bills, treasury strips, short-term securities already trade in one day. Why don't we just up this thing? But I think the real push was the brokers, the platforms, E-Trade, Robinhood, the big banks. They all have them, and they already kind of settled immediately. They were already doing this, so they just wanted the law to meet.
Okay, so here's the question: Do you care? Do you care?
No,
you don't care.
Not really.
You care?
You get your cash a day.
I think it's great.
Do you care?
Income
No,
investment.
but I understand. But we're traders, Howie, and so is you guys are investors.
Yeah.
You're not traders. Okay, we're traders. We trade all the time. We talked today about trading stocks.
Yep.
So, but for Joe Sixpack and Johnny Lunchbucket and City CEO, you don't care, do you?
No.
This is a non-issue.
Non-issue.
It really is. For me, it is, and I know
Is that because Mrs. Costa runs the money?
Well, truth be told. No, we're living in this Amazon world where I ordered this morning and it's on my doorstep. When it comes to that, the money and thing with the stock, I'm like, I don't care if I got to wait a couple days.
It's true. We're in the Venmo world.
Howie, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll see you Monday. I got a question for you. What's that? He looks tall.
Howie's hair looks taller.
You notice that?
Yeah, it's like Don King.
I usually blow dry it
Yeah.
this morning.
It's a little cooler
We're
up
going to
there.
do an entire show.
He's fine.
on
His
hair and hair products. And
You know, the program
hair
reads
care.
the program reads 5'11". He's actually 5'9", but he's 5'10" when he blow dries.
Yep.
You know, I have a question. You just brought up something very interesting, and that is that the Amazon stuff shows up on your doorstep just like this.
Yeah.
Now, I ask you this: would it be easier for you, okay, if you took a $100 bill, okay, and this is your Christmas budget, okay, or would it be easier for you to take your MasterCard and go out and spend it? What would you be more careful with?
I'd probably be more careful with my cash.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right.
There's the credit card.
And this is the crux of the latest advice coming from people that help you budget money, and that is, you take your paycheck each week, okay? You take your 10%, you pay yourself first, okay? You get an envelope for your groceries, you get an envelope for your gas, you get an envelope for your entertainment, and you get an envelope for your Christmas fund, all in cash. Rest of the stuff is paid in terms of whatever your budget is. They say if you do that for 6 months, you'll have more money than you've ever had in your entire life.
Really?
Because when the envelope's empty, ain't no more.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
So there's been, and we're going to have the author, I forget the name of the book, who did this, and did studies with about 1,000 different families.
Oh, I love
and
it.
to the
I'm gonna try
person,
this.
to the person, and they took different times of the year. They took pre-Christmas, they took January when you're paying off the credit card bills, they took vacation time in June, and they took end of summer. Okay, and I would argue that for the American family, holiday season's a big one. Paying off debt in January is a big one. Going into summer for vacation is a big one. And paying off summer vacation is the other one.
Yes.
And what they found every time was they found at least $150 per family per month that was unspent when they had to account for this. She went to the point where she would take the credit cards, except for one, put them in a plastic bag with water and freeze them. Ooh! Put them in your freezer.
No way.
So they are unusable. Not in an Apple Wallet. Now, that's discipline, but I will tell you, when you are living hand to mouth, which, like his are, all our kids are.
Yeah.
Some of us are. I will tell you, we're going to have them on the air next week, and I wish I remember the name, but we'll tease it tomorrow. But I wanted to ask the question, would you, if you had a $100 budget for Christmas?
That gives me anxiety.
Doesn't it?
Oh, God.
This does not, though.
No, that I'm like, okay. See, then I get points, and I can use my points to buy other things.
This is the same woman that said, I bought 4 Gucci purses, I saved $2,000. We made $8,000.
That's right.
But think
about my Gucci, but
think about the times you're on vacation. Let's say you're all staying in a really fun summer house together with maybe another family, and you go to the grocery store, and you're just throwing crap in your life. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You're getting Asiago cheese.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're getting fire Funyuns.
Yeah.
And regular Funyuns.
Come on. You have the cash, though?
Fancy brie.
The Bako bits?
Oh.
If you had